Hello and welcome to the Sidings. And today in the Sidings, I finally knuckled down and got myself the jointed rails first foray into Railworks. Yes, this is made by Jointed Rails. Well, Searchlight Simulations, and this is their Freight Packs 1 and 2. We have we have these Tioli gondolas, SULX, empty, and with what looks to be like sulfur powder in it. Now these guys you cannot click to be loaded. They just come empty and loaded, empty and loaded. Then you have one that's for a Soul Train. Then here are the CP Rail ones that carry coal. And you get 3 liveries of that. And I will be honest, and then you get them in this black livery too. And to be honest, I like these cars. This is a nice, almost unique touch. Really, I like something like this. It just, how do I say it? It makes the pack a little more interesting to play with. Especially when you can get creative with some of the trains you can make. Then there are these box cars. Now, apparently there's supposed to be another livery that's like a brown. But I've never been able to get it to show up in here. And that's kind of a bummer, but once again, it's nice to have these waffle door box cars. And they come with NS, Milwaukee Road. The Milwaukee Road. MEC. So yeah, the main central, you could get the black or the white. You get New Orleans. Get the East Camden and Highland Railroad cars. CSX. Corinth and Counts Railroad Companies. Once again, I'm not going to go over the modeling yet. I want to go over everything you get here. You get the Columbus and Greenville. Then you get these really nice round-bodied or cylindrical covered hoppers from the Saskatchewan Car Company. Here's a standard set of more box cars from the OKT. Railbox, which if a friend of mine saw this video, whenever it goes up, he'd be, a Railbox, and going nuts. The Sabine River and Northern. What else do we have hiding in these packs? More boxes. And a train. So yes, they do have a Fred that you can put on there. A flashing rear end device or a, rear end device. I'll let you figure out what the blank is. Grand Trunk Western box cars. Once again, apparently there's another livery, but I can't get it to work. DT&I. Or the Detroit, Toledo, and Ironton Railroad, otherwise known as the Henry Ford Railroad. I really wish we had the Henry Ford Railroad. But make it steam era, please. More CSX. BNSF using the Santa Fe Plus, as we call it. Some ATSF, I believe. So these guys are BNSF. These guys are ATSF. Okay. So adjacent Pecan Santa Fe. More ATSFers. More grain cars. One from Campotex Limited. Another from Saskatchewan. Another, the Canadian one. This is the Government of Canada. A heritage funder. Here's some Southern Pacific covered hoppers. Some Mopac covered hops. Some more, and then some MKT. Here we have GTW stuff. We have the Detroit, Toledo, and Shoreline. Or the Detroit and Toledo Shoreline. The Rio Grande, the Action Road. Yeah, there's action, alright. Your engines went from standard to narrow to standard. That's the only action they've ever seen. Unless you count the time that the Rio Grande Southern purposely italicized a locomotive's a water cistern in the tender, but we're not talking about that. More CSX. Ooh, Chessie. Chessie system. There's a lot of cars in this pack. Well, there's 2 freight packs here. I'm just running through them all at once. Some BN. More BN. This time in the green. 1 weathered and 1 clean. Another 2 BN cars with the... I think this is the earliest BN lettering logo. And then BNSF heritage schemes, I believe. It's either those are the heritage schemes, the white ones, or these are heritage schemes. Then we get the Chicago Northwestern Communist Railroad of America. As a joke, another Mopac. Then we get these bulkheads in BNSF, empty with pipes and with steel plates, and then we get them here in BN green. And as you can see, it says BN in Burlington Northern. Empty with pipes and with plates. The back here are some flat cars. BNSFers that are loaded with pipes and are empty. And then OTTX loaded and empty with pipe. Then we come over here to tankers. We have we have 2 different variants of the 5-digit and 2 different variants of the 6-digit. Back here are some DTTX well cars. So that's one set of the containers. That's another way you can have it set up. There is another one where you can have like it's 2 smaller containers under a bigger one. I think I show that off. And then if we come up here we have just an absolute boat ton of covered hoppers. So we got UP, SOXX. Believe those are leases. Sioux Line from the Canadian Pacific. Yes. Another Sioux Line. NOKL. Covered hoppers. KCS's. Yes. More KCS hoppers. GBRX's. GACX. Covered hoppers. CMOs from UP, BNSF Heritage, I believe. I believe these are the BNSF Heritage Hoppers. Then the DGHXs. So, all in all, what are my modeling thoughts? I like the modeling work. I was going to show this off on the RWA route, but these kept crashing it. Okay, I had my tears. But I'm gonna say that yes, these are some great cars, and they're free. They are absolutely 100% free. Like I said, the problem I had was when you're putting down cars, sometimes various liveries that do appear, or various things that do appear, don't appear in the actual scenario. So everything that you worked for is gone. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let the engine roll back into the hoppers. I think we're on a hill. 1.4 down percent gradient. We're gonna see how well a modern day steam engine handles these cars. Ow, the brakes. Oh. The brakes, man, coming off. Or even just being applied. Wow. So there's our Fred. And we're driving this with a Texas type. 210-4. I want to see how she does. Up this 1.4% gradient. I'm gonna put my camera here at the crossing. Take this down, mute, and let's see how she does. Okay, now that we seem to have gotten up to a good pace, 20 mile an hour with these modern day inconveniences. Okay, that's a thing. So the Fred is scripted as its own freight car. So instead of being able to put like a lamp on basically, instead of the idea of you having a lamp that you could toggle on and off, on and off, on and off, they give you this lamp here. This guy as a scripted freight car. Which, I guess? But the thing is if you look at things like Caledonia Works or even the Smoke Box, we have toggleable rear end devices. We have all the toggleable modern day safety precautions. And yet, they chose to make that an actual like car, which, to be honest, it's a bitch. It's a pain in the ass because you have to rotate it. You can't just plunk it down and have it be the right way round or anything. It'd be nice if these had a deal where it's like, no matter which way you rotated the car, you could toggle, you could click on it, hit the checkbox, and oh look, it's now got a toggleable switch, or a toggleable EOTD or FRED or whatever. As for the cars not being able to be loaded or emptied, honestly, a lot of people are going to see that as a downside, and I can see why. What's the point of having the cars and going into like a coal mine, or to a quarry or whatever? What's the point going to that quarry with those cars if they're just not gonna be used? Same thing with the bulkheads. What's the point of not having multiple loads and having them as loadable assets? Well, here's the thing. Are there cranes that are actually loadable assets? On some of the earlier routes, yes. But we're not dealing with those assets, and not everybody has those assets. So I can understand why you don't want to make them loaded or unloaded. Well, people can buy them. Yes, they can. But that's not the point. But back to the cars themselves. I think for Jointed Rail's first foray into TS, I believe it was a good attempt. I like them. If they manage to somehow port some of the library that they have on Jointed Rails over, like some of the depreciated flat cars and the cabooses and whatever else they got, I could see a lot of people being very happy. I could see a lot of people being like, that's a good move. But I could also, say that what we have here is good enough. That what we have here can suffice for what we need it for. So, do I recommend the wagons? Freight cars? Yes. But I'm also going to give you the caveat that some of the things I pointed out, the EOTD device being its own freight car, the cars not having the ability to be loaded or emptied, might be some great big turnoffs to people. Hell, these being modern day freight cars might be a turnoff. I'm gonna tell you right now, not everything here is gonna be for everyone's taste. Oh, you want the Milwaukee Road box cars? Oh, you want these covered hoppers, or those tankers, or those flatbeds, or those cars? There's 2 different freight packs. I believe pack 1 is the flatbeds. Pack 2 is everything else. In fact, I have jointed rails up right now. Okay, so here we go. Pack 1. You get the tank car. You get the well car. You get the cylindrical hopper. You get the Thioli bathtubs. And you get the EOTD, the end of train device. You get the flatbeds, bulkheads, and this is pack 2, by the way. The ACF 2-bay hoppers, EMC box cars, Gunderson 4250s, Gunderson 5188s, the PS waffle door box cars, and EOTD. So either pack's gonna give you an EOTD, an end of train device. So my best piece of advice to you guys: think about which pack you want, which one you want to start with. Try it out and see what you think of it. I'm just gunning for it all because it's free. Why not? In fact, there's a 3rd pack. Oh, not out yet. So, like I said, I would always recommend check it out for yourself. Don't take the word of some reviewer. Yes, it is good to get a review. Like, these are my thoughts, honest thoughts on it, but I'm also going to give you my point of view that I'm not here to make up your mind for you. You need to do that yourself. I want to see how good you are at making up your mind. And in fact, I'm going to issue a challenge to my subscriber base. To any of my subscribers who play Train Sim. Here's a challenge for you. Download these freight cars, both packs. And I want to challenge you guys. To see what you think. We're coming into the old station of Meisenheimer. So I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut, let my engine build pressure. We're gonna finish the run to where I have another item to look at, and then we'll go from there. And in fact, here's actually what I'm gonna do. I'll sign out like this and say, have a good one. Make up your own mind. Have fun. Don't rely on some jumped up little, diet sausage roll from the land of castles and cheeseburgers per eagles to tell you what you can and can't get. So, other than that, I will see you in the next episode. Bye.